this I'm keeping secrets in my hair, or any space you can find. Glad to see that I could help make your life a bit easier. But have you ever thought of how I felt? You need to think about your behavior.
It's only Thursday, boys and girls. A few hours ago before it's Friday and the weekend. Can you make it? Yeah, I bet you can. This is Butch On Sports. Simply Butch is here, and as always, thanks for tuning in here. Yes, indeed. Sports news humongous here. I will give it to you the way I can. On a Thursday. Yes, indeed. Well, let's start off with our Detroit Tigers. First and foremost, let me get this off out the way. Let's put it that way. Miguel Cabrera was removed Thursday afternoon's game with the Chicago White Sox. Reason because of left flexor tightness, according to the Detroit Tigers. The injury was occurred when Cabrera was stumbling over first base and fell into the dirt. If you didn't see that in the first inning, I'm quite sure there'll be replays of humongous as showing this particular there. Cabrera was headed out for the trainer Doug Teeter, manager Ron Garhire, and he convinced him that he could stay in the game. However, in the next half inning, defensively, he was placed by Nico Gurum, and that's the end of the whole picture. Cabrera right now is being under watch. He's going to be checking some extensive tests and what it may be to make sure that he's all right. But right now, he was out the game here. However, that didn't stop the Detroit Tigers here as they were trailing desperately through a game that the White Sox had it going on. In the snow, in the cold, in the wet, in the frosty rain in Chicago. The Detroit Tigers rallied in the ninth inning, came up with 5 runs, and by golly, in the 10th, came and won the game with a run from the and ruined Chicago's home opener on Thursday. Snow, blustery winds, I say. Guaranteed rate field. What kind of name is that for a stadium? Guaranteed rate field. The first pitch was like 43 degrees, but could you tell that with the wind chill factor? They never said here. After missing a numerous amount of chances in the contest, and we'll talk about that later, Tigers scored 5 combined runs in the 9th and 10th inning. Leon Martin scored the winning run on a grounder off reliever Aaron Bummer and drove in Mike Martus to give the Tigers a lead in the 10th inning. Jeremy Cavallaro added a RBI single in the 2-run frame, and again, the Tigers win the game by a score of 9-7. I have explained to you in one of the podcasts, matter of fact, the last podcast here, that the Tigers have not failed in making or getting base hits or maybe extra base hits. The problem has been scoring runs. Pitching has been average. And I would say this because Zimmerman was the pitcher today, and he gave up a whole heck of a lot of runs there in a short period of time. I believe in 4.5 innings there. Boy, oh boy. He's given up a run for each of the innings he faced. He's faced about 10 innings now. He's averaging a run in every inning. When is it going to stop? And of course, let's give a little paint job where it's due here. The average temperature for the Detroit Tigers since opening day of playing baseball, regardless of where it is, via Chicago or here in Detroit, has been 36 degrees. 36 degrees playing baseball. When you just leave Florida, and it's averaging a rate of 75 to 85 degrees. Major League Baseball, you should be proud of yourself here. Again. What can I say here? Detroit Tigers are, right now, their record, I think, is 2-4, 2-5, maybe. Give or take a little bit here. Tigers win, and that's the joy of this whole story. Let's move on, boys and girls. The 83rd Annual National Football League Player Selection Meeting will be at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where 8 o'clock on Thursday, April the 26th. Detroit Lions have a stake in that because they get a first-round draft pick, and they haven't lost it. The first round will start around about 7 o'clock Central Time, and then the following days here, on a Friday, they'll start at 7 o'clock. On a Saturday, they'll start at noon. Maybe I should give you the rounds 2 through 3 will be on Friday, 7 o'clock. Round 4 through 7 should be on Saturday. That starts at noon. And, of course, they only do one round on that particular Thursday because they get 1,000 years. 1,000 years of time to make a decision on who they're going to draft. And hopefully it bears out to be something decent here. On average, the first round always concludes around like 11:30 at night here. So, make sure you have plenty of snacks, things to keep you awake if you plan on staying awake. Me, myself, I will be at the headquarters of the Lions. And so the Lions make their selection and get the interview, I'm going home and go back to bed. 3 hours and 34 minutes. That's normally the actual time on the first date of the drafting here. But I'm just letting you know so you can get yourself kind of ahead of yourself because no one ever talks about that. So I decided to do so. So whatever it takes, all those rounds, all those goodies here. Especially Saturday, where you'll take about 6 hours and 29 minutes. Hey, I'm just giving you facts and figures that I had to look up because I had plenty to do today. And maybe you already know this, but what do you care? The Red Wings are playing tonight here. Montreal's leading 3-2. And that's in the third period right now. We'll give you some updates on that in a moment. Matter of fact, let's do it right now here. Let's click our little clicker here and see what we can find. Yes, Montreal is now leading 4-3 with about 12 minutes to spare in the third period there. We'll keep you abreast of those scores as we continue with Butch On Sports here. By the way, the Red Wings will have a thanks to the fans Hockey Town by hosting the Fan Appreciation Night on the final regular season game on Saturday, April 11th. Or April the 7th, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself here. When the Red Wings take on the New York Islanders, I have some friends who work for the Islanders and MSG, Madison Square Garden Network here. If I decide to go, we'll hook up and celebrate the final game of hockey season. I don't know here. But again, numerous prizes, giveaways, 20 lucky fans will attend us in the game. Brandon will go on the ice following the game and meet the Red Wings player and receive a replica jersey and a stick. The Red Wing alumnus will be around there handing throughout the night award prizes, thanking fans during the game, and shaking hands and kissing babies, and I don't know what else they'll do. Take pictures with you. They'll be around there. They're trying to make it square deal down there kind of night there. The Red Wings not making the playoffs. So The Red Wings do this every year. Of course, Lucky Season Road giveaways will be announced throughout the game as well, featuring a wide array of prizes, gift cards from Little Caesars Arena and the restaurants, and Kid Rock made Detroit restaurant again, Sports and Social Detroit, Mike's Pizza Bar, and Detroit Tigers tickets, autographed merchandise, the whole 9 yards. A bunch of bobbleheads and stuff there. Hey, make it a fair. Go on down there. And you can get a prize for pizza for 1 year. Right, the Sports and Social Detroit will be offering one fan in attendance. Guess what, boys and girls? This is a big one. Nachos for a year. I don't know. I'm just reading the script. Nachos for a year. So find some storage space in your house or in your fridge. That processed cheese and stuff there. I guess Mr. Microwave is waiting on you here. Additional fans of Saturday's game will have an opportunity again. Those VIP experiences or whatever it may be here. Get there Saturday. That'll be the last game of the season for the Detroit Red Wings. And don't forget the old Zamboni rides and the warm-up from the penalty box and a whole lot of the little goodies will be there to partake in the memorable experience of the last night. And also on the 26th, let me give you a heads up on this, the 26th of April, they will have the second annual Paint on the Ice. That means you can go in there for $23 donation and paint anything you want on the ice, hopefully legible and appreciative, so you don't go to jail or they kind of scratch it out or something there. Children can also do the same thing for a $10 donation, children under 11 years old. So I'm just letting you know, giving you a heads up. We'll talk about that further as the event comes closer and closer to the 26th of April. Let's move on here on this abbreviated version of Butch On Sports here. I mentioned to you last night, Detroit Pistons are out of the playoffs there. So, doing interviews today, I listened to some players and said they'll go out there and try the very best they can here. And I gave you my soapbox edition of what I think. Okay, and I'm not going to go ahead and harp on it or whatever it may be, because it's not worth harping on anymore. We'll wait and see kind of ammunition here, though. See what justice is prevailed, or, do we really care about our fans and winning basketball games? I don't know. Hey. But I tell you, today was a huge day for the Boston Celtics here. 12 days ago, they said Kyrie Irving would be active and be ready to get back to playing basketball, and he'll be ready for the playoffs and the this boom bah. And he's proven to LeBron James over and above beyond the Call of Duty that he is a very worthy person to lead a basketball team into a championship type of mode, as he did when the Cavaliers won their particular. He shot that last second shot, or came off of injuries with a broken leg and all these other ankles and all these other injuries that Kyrie Irving's done had. Well, he had surgery, was reported. He had surgery this past weekend, and it's now just getting reported that the surgery, they found some things that were just not right, and thus the season is over. Yes, initially he was told rest and relaxation and some treatment would kind of get it together here. But Kyrie Irving continued to find discomfort in that particular portion of his knee. So they went through the surgery process, which he did get permission to do, and they found that there were other things wrong. He called it alleviated persistent discomfort in his left knee. So he'll miss the regular season and the playoffs as well. He is due to be out 5 to 6 months. 5 to 6 months. And everyone is counting the Boston Celtics, although they are winning. out of the playoff possibility of beating the Cavaliers. Boy, if there was some medicine that can be held to the Celtics' ears right now, if they just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, they have had a successful season. And I bet you the coaching staff, fans, and a whole lot of others are kind of preaching that to the remainders of the Boston Celtics, which they've had a heck of a time with players being healthy here. Holford has been injured. Smart has been injured. Various other players have been injured off and on. What can you do? Not too much. Not too much there. Not too much indeed here. We're going to kind of flip our script for a sec and check on the Detroit Red Wings here as I'm watching a shameful commercial. So I'm going to click back on to other business here as we almost end this tour of Butch On Sports here. Did I have some other reminders here I have to give you here? I'm looking up my script here, which is much stuff. I normally write down before the show starts, as I normally do, to kind of be pretty much so prepared. And I know this is an abbreviated version tonight here. We will have a version of Butch On Sports tomorrow night, and we'll be off the weekend. Of course. But I tell you right now, I gave you the dirty work on the Tigers. I gave you the particular information on that. We're trying to kick off the Red Wings here right now and find out what's left to go here. Yes, it's still 4-3. Montreal leading the Red Wings here. Significant amount of time remains. 9 minutes to go in the game. So right now, it's got to be. Hopefully, the Red Wings win or show a better performance than they have been. We're talking about Montreal, though, who, in my knowledge, Montreal is going to the playoffs, and Detroit's not. Oh well. That is my version of goodies and whatever it may be. I could talk about the the Red Wings as I'm watching the predicament of the show here. I'm done. Butch On Sports is always a presentation of Oh My Darling Productions. You can check out Butch On Sports on Facebook here. Go to Facebook, Butch On Sports. You can get the podcasts there. You can also go to Podomatic. Type in SIMPLYBUTCHTOO.Podomatic.com. You can also pick up a recipe and a revelation of this particular broadcast on iTunes there. And by the way, you can go to Podbean and type in Scott Nason Sports Show .podbean.com. You can also find it there, and also the ridiculous, lovely shows called The Game that will be on this Monday night. Okay, live version indeed, and of course our podcast version as well. And also Dave McKay's show at Sports Center Lounge, and I forgot Boston Pizza, I think, as well here. He gets all the big shot places there. I'm talking about Dave McKay. And also you'll hear from E.J. Russell here. Always interesting news and comment, I'll so say. Hey, I'm done with this all here. I'm Simply Butch here. Again, Butch On Sports presentation. Oh, my darling production. Have a great Thursday night or a good Friday morning, boys and girls. Have at it.
Yeah.